Okay, what is the best snack you have in your house right now?
Probably beef jerky. I love beef jerky as like a go-to snack. It's more of a healthier snack than gummy bears these days. So,
welcome back to Stack and Grow Snacks. I'm Steph Crugnola, and I am here with Sidney Waterfall, and we are talking about the inbound buying experience and funnel conversion. So in our last segment, we talked all about what that inbound buying experience is and how to optimize it, the KPIs that you need, and an overview of the different phases. And now, Sidney, can you walk me through the steps to optimize from conversion to meeting booked?
So we're going to cover two phases in this episode, and they kind of go hand in hand. So we're going to cover them together. So phase one is going to be conversion and qualification. So this phase occurs after the point of conversion, which is normally going to be a form fill, declared intent form fill, or a chat fill, or they're doing something on your website that essentially means that they're raising their hand, they want to talk to sales. So during this phase, it's all about capturing information effectively, running it through a qualification process, and ensuring that this is the right fit for your sales team to ultimately book a meeting. Now, that kind of sounds like a lot, but that can be done instantaneously with technology these days, or it can be done very manually. And maybe you might be somewhere in between. So this is where you really want to understand where you're at. So during the qualification process, the person or maybe technology is in charge of the qualification to decide whether it's a viable opportunity using specific criteria to your business. So this can look a lot different. It could be company size, it could be job titles. You might qualify everybody. If you have really low volume, you might just be hard passing everybody. Deal, profile, all of these kind of things are taken into account. So phase one, form is submitted on the website, and the step two of that is the qualification vetting process begins to see if they should book a meeting. So that's the high level. Now let's go into like the people, process, and technology under phase one. So in this phase, you are typically going to see members sitting in different departments working alongside each other. You're going to have the inbound team and the marketing org that's responsible for getting people to the website and converting them on the website. Then you're going to probably have your sales team involved on the second part of this, which is going to be your SDR, BDR, ADR, whatever you want to call these positions, and sometimes even maybe your account executive if you're going to route and directly to them. We always recommend that I'm going to go over the best thing to model, and then you can see where you're at. So the best thing to model is to make it a really light lift on the customer, not many form fills on the website, only getting crucial information that you need, not like to have, and not for internal reasons that the customer doesn't care about. So reducing the number of form fields on that form. We'll get into technology, but you can use technology to get some of that data that you may manually want instead of having them fill out the form. And the question of people comes up in this section. Should you pass, if they truly are declared intent hand raising, should you pass the people to SDR, or should you pass them direct to AE? So this is where the people aspect comes in. We recommend that if they truly are qualified, meaning they fit a certain criteria that you all agree on, and they're filling out this form, that you pass to a more established sales team to quickly convert them into late stage pipe faster. Internally, you could test this. You could test this with a portion of this. You could optimize this over time, but that's really the best case scenario. Now let's go into process. Process and technology is, I feel like, really ramped up in phase one and phase two. So this phase is about successfully capturing them and then converting them, getting them to the right team with the right information. So what does that process look like, and how do we use the technology component to help with this? So I mentioned decreasing the amount of fields and friction on the form so that you can increase your conversion rate. However, there's still data points that you probably need. So from a process perspective, we would recommend that you require work email address on the form. And then from a technology point of view, you implement a data enrichment tool to enrich that data so you don't need to ask them questions that you can get elsewhere by looking at their LinkedIn profile or through a data provider. Industry, company size, job title, country, state, city. I've even seen zip code on some forms, things like that. So that's one thing that we recommend in the technology phase for the actually enriching the form to get more form fills. That way, your sales team and the people who are going to have to follow up with those have the information that they need. You're reducing buying friction for your buyer and hopefully increasing conversion, which means hopefully increasing revenue.
Okay, so that was phase one. Now let's get into phase two.
Phase two, meeting booked. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're trying to get the meeting scheduled. We're trying to get the prospect to agree to a meeting and get it scheduled on their calendar as fast as possible. So it used to be speed to lead, speed to outreach. Like how fast can we get an automated email out to this person to then book a meeting? Again, this is in the people category. What are the people doing here? Are we manually reaching out to these people? Are we using a technology or tool to send an automated email from a person? What's happening there? Something to audit and recommend and go through kind of the funnel. Again, just document what's currently happening. But the goal is not speed to lead. The goal nowadays is speed to meeting booked. You could even argue that it's speed to meeting attended if you want to get advanced. How quickly can you get that person while they have the need on the phone or Zoom with sales? So there's a couple different technologies I'll go through that have different options. What most B2B SaaS companies do is they fill out the form and then they'll immediately trigger, an email from an SDR, BDR using a sales technology tool, or you can also use your marketing automation tool as well to trigger that out to immediately follow up. But then you're going back and forth on email, you're asking questions, you're trying to figure out, just book the meeting. So that's really what you want to understand in this phase, what's happening. Also, what's happening in the back end on your CRM as well. I mentioned in an earlier episode some metrics that you want to track, okay, form fill happened, the date, the timestamp when they get qualified or passed to sales. All right, what's the timestamp that they booked the meeting? When did they schedule the meeting? You want all of these data points to be recorded in your CRM. If you're not, great opportunity to add them in there in the process phase. So in the process, you're going to look at, again, manual versus tech enabled. And are we manually dispositioning leads? Are we manually routing, manually assigning? Hopefully not. Hopefully you've got some workflow criteria in your automation system. However, in big organizations, the routing and the assigning is a very big deal because they have massive sales orgs that are based on multiple things. They could be territory based. They could be based on where the HQ of the organization is, regardless of where the person who is actually requesting the demo is. All these different dynamics, territory based, account based, all of these things. So this could be very simple for you, or this could be a little bit more complicated where you basically require technology to help your routing. So there's two things that we recommend here. Step one, you've got your enrichment tool, hopefully. In phase two, which is meeting booked, you need an automated meeting booking tool. There's a lot of them out there. I have my personal favorites. Everyone does. I'm not going to list them, but you need an automated meeting tool that essentially the best state is when they fill out the form and they meet the certain criteria, instantly show that form and instantly get it booked. Then you can use a sales outreach platform to follow up. Even if they book that meeting, say, hey, I'm really excited to talk to you. Here's some pre-call information, whatever you want to send as resources before that call. And if they decided not to book that call, you can still follow up and get them to book via email, but it needs to be like immediately. There's also some of these tools that allow you to instantly chat right then. So there are definitely tools that also help you connect immediately. So I talked about, just getting the meeting scheduled right after the form fill. But a lot of these tools are going one step further where you can actually live connect with someone right then. And their face will show up and they'll say, hey, do you want to talk right now? Is now a good time? We can instantly get you connected. Some of these tools do that on the right then on the form. You can ask, I want to talk to someone now, and it'll push you into this workflow where they find someone that can speak with you now. Or they say, no, I want to schedule a meeting. I don't want to talk right now. I just have this need. I need to put this on the calendar as a task because it's a need that's going to come up again. So a couple different options there. And obviously, again, speed to meeting booked and speed to meeting attended is what you want to optimize for. And these technologies really make it possible. And they actually do make a really big difference in your conversion rate. So a lot of them have their own benchmarks of what you can expect as an increase if you use their technology. If that's something of interest to you, definitely look into that and model it out for yourself because they do cost. There's a cost to these tools. They're not very expensive. Some are more expensive than other, depending on what you need. But usually the cost is definitely worth it. So that's kind of an overview of the people, process, and technology for meeting booked. And I'm sure we'll go over the next two phases soon.
Yeah, so that was a great overview of phase 1 and 2. In the next segment, we will hit phases 3 and 4. So thank you so much, Sidney, and we'll see y'all then.